Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to today's edition of the program, The Expert Opinion. My name is Grace Williams Joshua. I'm here today and we'll be looking at some training issues within our country. First of all, for today, we will have two experts that will be discussing the issue on our guest. We'll have Mr. Mobake Yobo, the Executive General of COP and also a member of the ANC. We'll have Willis Daniel, an educator that have been in the field for a very long time, making sure that Liberians have access to good education system and molding the mind of youth and the younger generation in getting to where they ought to be. We'll be looking at the protest, protests with that of soup and the e-learning system on the university campus. There are a lot of people that are a lot of mindset around being a student of the University of Liberia. People think that if you're in a university, you will stay there for 15 to 16 years before you graduate. Other people think that when you are in a university, you are just there. The three D is at the front. Difficult to enter, difficult to leave, and difficult to stay. How the university has been branded. But we noticed that the COVID-19 pandemic have brought the university on its knees when it comes to some pressing of issues or difficulties we have on the campus. Number one, let's look at the educational system environment in which we learn. We talk about the world is moving faster. The world is moving faster, yes. Are we in path with the trend of the world today? Our COVID-19 has brought a lot of challenges and have brought out the potholes that we have in the educational system. First of all, now our president Nelson is saying that we should go 100% online. This is the fact. How many Liberians you think have access to smartphone to be able to go online? Even if they have access to smartphone, how many Liberians can afford to buy $4 or $2 Blue Star or Orange Crash Card a day to be able to get 1 gig for 3 or 4 classes each day? Because if you're just starting the university, a freshman student or sophomore, you have to carry your credit in 18 or above. How much do you think we can have to be able to reach that trend mark? Now we see that 100% we have 12,000 students enrolled this semester, with a SAT that Montana has provided in line with the University of Liberia. Imagine 12,000 students logging into that page at the same time. I'm a witness. I'm not saying this because I want to talk. You will find a lot of hitches, mostly when it comes to the time. Before you log in, self will tell you time out. You don't even have access to log in. If you log in, you try to download your notes, you notice that they tell you, you don't have access. They will tell you cannot download. Time out. These are the problems students of the university are faced with. Of course, the university is doing well to build that site, e-learning, providing campus internet for students. The buses, when we in regular school that is face to face, we have buses that take us from our junction to Benson to that of Fena campus. That is a thumbs up to the government. But SUB has been in the art of advocacy over the years. They own the university back, making sure that the University of Liberia reach to where it is and where it will be tomorrow, a few years from now. SUB will not give up. Students will not give up. They will keep pressing, making sure that things be done the right way. So I'm not an expert, I'm just a host of this program. We have two people here today that will be discussing this issue in depth. What are some recommendations they will be providing to the Liberian government and that of the University of Liberia and other universities within Liberia? Look around the world. We always refer to Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, other countries. They are making trademark. Other universities today, if you see, look at their work online. You have students going to school online. You can sit in your country and do whatever course you want to do. Liberia is not in a different world. We are here today existing in this century. Why can't we be a part of what we are doing today? I'll take a short break. When I come back, I'll bring you my guest. My name is Grace Joshua. Okay, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is a reminder that you are following the program, The Expert Opinion, on Brush FM 94.7. And I'm your host, Grace Williams Joshua. Like I said, today we are looking into the recent violence, or we call it protest, of that of the University of Liberia student body, that is SOUP, one of the major political leaders on the campus there when they launched that protest. And we saw vehicles being damaged, and just to call the government attention to training issues from the university campus. And today we are looking at the e-learning system on the university campus, which has become 100%. All the learning activities on the campus is now 100% online. My question here is, are we ready for this? What are some of the challenges students are faced with out there? Are people just looking at soup to be the troublemaker? Like they always, people say, rebuking protest. Protest is not a word way forward. But look at our country. Most of the issues that have been addressed over the years come through protest. Are we always going to be sitting over the fence, waiting for people to get angry to express their view before we come up to find solution? You have students struggling to even log in to access their page. It's not easy. When I say difficult, is very you even buy your internet, you sacrifice your daily full money to buy your internet. When you even log into your page, your site, they will tell you time out. You cannot get access to that page. You have assignment due, you can't log in. If you want to download your note to study, you can't get access. Of course, you can play your courses. Yes, you can play your courses, but you cannot get access to classroom. So if people have seen Sue on the street protesting, it's not because they are troublemaker, but because they are faced with a lot of challenges that our expert will be here today to discuss and to address and give some recommendations to the Liberia University, one of the biggest universities in West Africa, like we always call it. We have full a lot of brains, a lot of decent people, most of our good people we have in the society today pass through the ringing power of the University of Liberia. My name is Grace Joshua, and we have two experts here today that we're discussing. We have Mr. Yoba from the ANC, he's the Secretary General of the COP presently, so he will be on the line. One percent online. How many students have access to smartphone? I was trying to get the Secretary General of SOUP to be here. I don't know. I will keep trying to see if I can get him because nowadays most people don't want to come in the studio. They prefer to be out there. You call them, you people discuss. So first of all, we'll take Mr. Yobo. I think he will be on the line shortly for us to discuss this issue. He's the Secretary General of COP, and now he's a member of the ANC political party. So if you people have seen that most people stay long at the universities for many reasons. It's not only because they want to stay long there, but because there are some issues that they don't have control over. Okay? And we don't have the right people addressing these issues. So if we talk about experts being on the show, it's for them to give recommendations to find some of those problems that we are faced with and for us to come up with solutions to those problems. Okay? And Mr. Yabo has been one of the young men out there that have been making sure that Liberian youth are listening to him, always on the front line whenever you want to talk to him on pressing issues, providing guidelines and recommendations. So I thought it was to connecting and Mr. Willis too that will be here from Grand Bassa because the University of Liberia is not only limited to that of Maserado County. No. Mr. Willis has been an educator for a very long time and he too will be on the program to discuss some of this issue. Okay, I try to connect with Mr. Yoba. I'll take a break and we'll come back and we bring him. Okay, I think he's on the line. Hello, how are you, sir? How's everything? Welcome to the program. Okay, this is Brush FM in the expert opinion. Like we said, we will be looking at the training issues from the University of Liberia now that the e-learning system is 100% online. Of course, the president has called for immediate halt or closure of the university, but would like to get some recommendations and some input from you, being a well-meaning Liberian has contributed to the society in so many ways, sir.
Thank you. I'm very happy that you're discussing this today. I believe that policies should be responsive to realities. Any policy that is not responsive to any existing reality, that policy was contrary to its intended purpose. Which is why I, for one, I'm a huge supporter of e-learning. I believe that traditional in-person learning is good because it brings a sense of reality, reality to the learning experiences, build bonds, transfer skills, and all of that. But I also believe that blend of both is also a good thing. That's what it does. It brings us in turn.
Okay, that's Mr. Yobo there. I think we lost him. He'll be back on the line soon, making his own input on this program. We'll also have Willis shortly from Green Bassa. He's the assistant superintendent for fiscal affairs, and he's on the line right now. How are you, sir?
Hello?
Mr. Willis, how are you?
Hello?
Yeah, Yobo, how are you? Are you getting me? Okay, we're trying to connect. We have little technical problem here in getting
Okay, I'm looking for a minute. So I don't know when I just lost. Okay,
yeah.
I don't mind restarting the conversation.
Yeah, we were talking about a recent protest at the University of Liberia for the 100% online e-learning program that was set up at the university, sir.
Okay, beautiful. So as I was saying, I'm one person, and I have a background in education, by the way. When I did my first graduate degree, I did it in education and training. My maritime degree, but with emphasis in education and training. So I do have quite a substantial degree of knowledge when it comes to learning, kinds of learning, learning experiences, and all of that. But I believe that none of this works in a vacuum. There has to be the infrastructure that supports e-learning. There has to be stable electricity. There has to be very good internet connectivity. There has to be infrastructure. Students have to have access to computers, to do all of that. So I believe before these kind of policies are rolled out, there's a need that some of these are addressed. They are put in place when you roll out these kind of policies. Policies that are rolled out without the proper preparation, they will work contrary to the intent of the policy. So I think this is something the government has to consider very strongly. They have to ensure that the university, has the proper electricity, connectivity, stable internet connectivity as well. And students also have to have considerable knowledge on computer technology because you're not going to expose somebody to e-learning when they barely know how to use a computer.
That's one
So
of the
that's
issue we
something.
have. Yeah, that's one of the serious issue that we have because we notice that even teachers are finding it, instructors are finding it difficult to even log into e-learning. Talk less about their own email
That, that,
addresses.
that's the thing about it. And I'll give you an experience. When I lecture at Indiana University in 2017, because I used to lecture criminal justice administration there, it was interesting to know that at the university level, I was teaching junior level courses. All of my students in our class, about 22 of them, only 2% have an email address. Yes, only two students have an email address. So what I did to help that process was I told them the assignment you're going to submit to me has to come from your own email account. So when they told me later on when I was graduating, they told me, no, Prof, you are the reason why I have an email account now. So we have this situation that we have to start to handle before we really start to roll out something as complex, especially now, in the matter of speaking, it is complex now in our society. I think in my
Seriously, seriously.
culture, it is a challenge, right? That's where it will be flawless. Like me, for example, my computer proficiency, I can do anything 100% online. And I also have the resources to ensure I have stable current, to have internet connectivity. But what about the other students that don't have these luxuries, I may call them, right? So there has to be some serious policy prescription that addresses policies present that address all of these concerns before we can migrate to a full e-learning platform. Other than that, it will be a challenge. However, I can recommend a blend of both, right? That's called blended learning. In the education, that's blended learning. So you have a part of your learning experience that is in person, which is traditional learning, and a part of the learning that is also e-learning. So you have distance learning, where you sit for far behind the computer screen, and then you attend lessons, you attend classes. So that's one thing. But to migrate fully to e-learning, without you trying a blend of both, that's blended learning. I think it's just bringing out the wrong. And whoever is doing the thinking needs to rethinking.
And I just like to hold you there to ask you this question, not just looking at the difficulties or the constraint we are faced with. But Mr. Yogo, come to think of it, do you know that students cannot log in, they don't have access to the page to enter their classes?
So you see, that's another thing. So I mean, we didn't have the system that is flawed. The
Very,
system
very
will
poor.
allow students to participate. So even the system need overall, you need someone with the requisite internet education, technology education to run the platform so that you can flawlessly access the page and sit in your classes. But we don't even have that working. So you see, so this has to be rolled. We have to pilot it. Pilot this, give it optional for students who you think can run it, right? And then you take track of it. You get someone to roll out this as a pilot project, and then you track it and see its use. You see, the approval rating. You see the penetration. You see how many students will prefer e-learning over traditional in-person classroom learning. Roll that out and see where the percentage weighs the overemphasis on that. But ultimately, we all going to transition to e-learning. At a certain point, what will transition? As the world gets more technologically advanced, and as more and more people have access to internet education, we will transition. But it cannot be shoved down our throats. It has to be meticulously done, intentionally done.
Okay,
That's why I said
okay.
deliberately done. Yeah.
So can you give your recommendation to that of the president of the university right now as we speak? Because students
I
cannot do
think
that
right
on their
now,
own. They've been trying. It's very difficult. But when an expert like you make recommendations, they take it kind of a serious, you know?
I think right now, in the absence of a properly structured, program to ensure that there's stable electricity, uninterrupted internet connection, the adequate access to computer by students, and of course a working platform, right? You cannot roll this out. I mean, you can try to pilot it, but it cannot be mandatory. Students who want to use it, they can use it. But it has to be a certain way where students get to choose it as an option. But then to the extent that this is not being wholly absorbed by the students, it cannot be shoved down our throat. So they should discontinue this immediately and try to pilot it so that they can determine whether it is a viable alternative to in-person traditional learning.
Okay, before you go, can you tell us anything from the political camp right now, sir?
Yeah, I think the Green Party is gradually lending the leadership of this country into the hands of opposition. They are self-destructing. I told my colleagues yesterday This government is on autopilot. Nobody's running this government. Take breaks, we thank God for life, and then we go to sleep the next morning, we do the same routine. All right? A lot of things are just happening by themselves. They're just happening. And I think because God loves us. All right? Yesterday alone, there were three different protests across the country. You have NPA people protesting, you have truck drivers protesting for the murder of one of their colleagues. You know, you got wired victims of the subsequent shit families having a press conference with it. You know, so you see that there is a total breakdown in the leadership of this country. There's no one in charge. They think they're in charge, but they're not. Because a lot of things are happening on their watch, and they don't know how to run it. They don't know how to control it. But what I can tell you is that as much as this is happening, it's not just the easiest way for the opposition to gain power. They will have to prove that they're an alternative to this administration. And to do that by sending out a certain kind of message, they have to demonstrate that they're ready to lead this country. And for us, from the ANC particularly, Mr. Cummings has told us that clearly, in all the protocol terms, that will make our case very difficult for the going to reject our case. And that is where we are right now.
Okay, I would like you to elaborate on our autopilot, please, sir.
Yes, nothing. You know when the flight is autopilot, you usually when the flight at certain altitude, right, like 30,000 feet above, the pilots will just engage the autopilot mode and you can roll around to the plane. You don't have to you have to stay with the plane. It just go by itself. So what happened right now, like,
So, like, bro, it's just one
nobody,
everyone their own, no director, nobody.
no, nothing, no direction. Just on, we just going by itself. Like, when Gabriel, we look at there's like when I in the bank, no problem. Gabriel, we look at the petrol in a petrol station, and thank God, you know. So it's just happening, things happening. Like right now, I'm told the special price of containers at the port, beef actually do at 190, right? But now I'm told it's going to 400. So
Wow.
why doing that? The second another hardship already, and then you want to try to compound this on your own citizens. You should be lobbying to use this to facilitate trade and commerce. But instead, you strangulating the domestic business, the small businesses. So those who importing stuff in the country now, based on what to pay at the port, that what is going to pass down to ordinary citizens who have no say in what happens in this country. And this government should be coming for the ordinary citizens, but instead, they're making life difficult for ordinary citizens. So now I'm telling you, countries are autopilot, or it is not autopilot, your pilot towards that direction. That's the problem.
Okay, that's Mr. Yawa there. Thank you very much for always being an innovative person. We're ready to take call from journalists at any time. Thank you, sir. Have a blessed day.
I'm happy to be here, and let's thank you very
Okay,
much.
stay on the line for your parting comment. I'll call you back, okay? Okay, we lost him. That's Yawa there from the ANC camp. He's the Secretary General right now for COP. So he's saying that Liberia is on an autopilot mode. Let's try to get Mr. Willis Daniel on point here. But before we do that, we'll take a short break and we'll come back. We take in Mr. Willis Daniel, the Assistant Superintendent for Fiscal Affair from Grand Bassa County. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to the program, The Expert Opinion. I'm here today. I'm Grace Williams Joshua. I had Mr. Yogba from that of the ANC was making his own point shortly. Now I will bring you Mr. Willis Daniel. He's the Assistant Superintendent for Fiscal Affairs there from Grand Bassa County. Mr. Willis, how are you?
Oh, fine, great. Thank you. Thank you for the invite from building up on the time. I'm grateful to God and grateful to you. Thank you.
Okay. They knowing you over the years, you have been a great motivation to a lot of young people, and you have been making a lot of impact when it comes to education. Now, looking at the Liberia University and a lot of the difficulties we have in accessing classes with the e-learning system put in place, with the system put in place there, I think we lost him, so we will take him back. We are talking about the education system within Liberia. And why do we call this program the expert opinion? I think he's calling back. Mr. Williams, like I
Yeah,
was saying about the e-learning
yeah,
system set up by the university. Can you elaborate on it and your own input being an
yeah.
educator?
Thank you. Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much. And I follow Yoga. I think he had a point. And what I always say to people, Liberia is on a learning path when it comes to education. We admire that learning process. But what I always say is that there should be a pilot project and see the input, we can break it, we can grade it, then we can rush it out. So until then, I have been asking these critical questions. How many of those students on the campus have access to internet? Are they schooled to using that the process? The students, how many have computer? And what about people require full-time current, you need full-time networking system without any kind of breaking? Or how big it there's still a way to do it. But I would say, if we got issue with it and we see that carrying or just going back to protest, it's not the way forward. I've been through the walls, and I know what it means the students get first. If they get first, there are other ways we can turn up our grievances. We agree. Ghana is challenged, the country is challenged, so many issues happening. We can face for us, how we find a way out. The
Okay.
world is moving to a kind of moving out process very soon. Like in China, in the Western world, it is happening. But back home in Liberia, are we ready to conduct and have effective e-learning system? After that question, are we ready? Government has the passion, the vision, but are we equipped to use this thing? We are not ready yet. We find a way out, and this is a good mindset, good plan. But we can still return the wheel. That become really of the virus, we can have these face to face. But we can stop it bit in pieces. Like what brother said, we can follow it first. We try and see the outcome. And then we can give it to the world. Because, it's big out. Cotton Tom, AMU, Zion, and let's go on and on. But until then, now that after our own police, that's guys from food, the factories and everything, I was there and I saw them put, and I went to for the account. The account the being blocked. It's not just in the street, the shop right, the shop things. It's not the way to go. You know, go out there for constant protesting when you got issues. They're always, I mean, they have students that go there, go to school, comfort is dialogue, and put foot the grievances. But I would say, we can check the history of Grand Bassa. I say it on record. I am the first person to have a successful dialogue that has lead us to a one pastor. Totally. Not going to make, I mean, 200 million. I have guys from over the list. We all met. There were issues that we found. All on video is not all. But then we gave ourselves, and that's how we out. We came there. And we sat down with corners, leaders, and we told them what we think, what we feel was the government. So for me, I strongly condemn the action of the students that took on that people day because people lost attention. It's not the way to go. I condemn that. Consider too. The government is trying to do the best to do. Some years back, before you get into the system, some like almost a month, some like weeks. So then you can just take that homework in your phone and then you do your courses online. Good thing. No
O-
more cookies.
Okay,
Just let it go.
I take your point very seriously, but my own point here, my question to you is, what are some
Uh-huh.
challenges the educational system is faced with in Grand Bassa County being an assistant superintendent over there for fiscal affairs?
Yes, thank you very much. The challenges are all around in the country when it comes to the issue of the learning in my county. It's not there. It's not up to it yet. There are issues comes from management, certain area, values, and things. So this one is normal. It's normal. Currently, I have a tutorial class of all subjects in my district, and I pay teachers. So these teachers, those are going for life. Go there, sit there, and pay the teachers. Because we need to help them to help.
Grand Bassa
So
is blessed,
I
though.
think,
I would like to hold you there because you'll be a teacher for a very long time before I sit into that position. I tell you, Grand Bassa is
yeah,
blessed.
that's sure that I have a similar chance after for the past 6, 7 years today, and I'm here. But again, all I can say is appreciate government, also encourage ourselves that we have all the good things, all the good players. We need to knowledge how to put these things out. How we can try to bit in pieces. Then my friend brother said, let's start a FMC. Let's try and see.
Oh,
And let's get the result. That's
Mr.
currently
Ellis, I would like to
coming.
hold you there. I know you will conclude, but when Mother said something about auto pilots, I want you to say something about that because I know you are going straight into politics right now.
Sometimes we don't regret when we have the way they talk. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. This country is not also violent. That is unreal. That is not happening in Liberia. It's most people from 4 minutes from the street level, out of our future of school. Of course, I have is seated government personally. Salaries have been paid on time. All right, you have free tuition money, and you say government, the country is not also pilot. These are things and things that our colleagues did not go in the kind of way.
But
If
he
you see
listed
that
some
government
count
even
though. He pointed some count when it comes to the numerous protests within
listen,
the
now come in.
country.
I follow them. Now, I protest is part of government. Protest is done worldwide. Everywhere they are voted. In the
Okay.
States, in China, Ukraine, what is all our place? This is empty. Okay, so now, so where were they the last 12 years when people who were from on the beaches? Everybody was running around. Where were they? Who had the use out? Where were they? When it comes to sign move up contract, that today that we are crying for jobs, where were they? You know, let me real and people real to our consciousness. Who the have followers is so let me real. And let all stay on stage. We agree that all is not water and prayer, all is not 100%, but there are some mighty things made on just we have leadership. We must just forget to just we are. It don't come from the store to the lead off. You have things being done. These things Sunday when they guys think it's a funny for study. But however, no, we don't believe them. Let's share ANC will be critical issue. Greater. Bring your platform, bring your market, and I bring mine, and we sell it.
Okay, he
You know,
also said that you people are driving the citizens to that of the opposition side, making it easier for opposition to take power. So I'd like you to speak on that.
you see, good. You don't bring opposition when they talk. I will speak the way she just spoke if I was there and not be used to my conscience. But Morgan knows what he said. He was out of order. He needs to rethink. When officer is now look ahead, they are living in a state of pandemonium, confusion, and you're still giving them the leadership. If the more when they of elections, so will win again. Because you cannot say you want to take over this country and you're there having war among themselves, falling apart, lack of leadership, and you say we're government to the state to the citizens, I mean to you, this is wrong. This is wrong. I will encourage him, a gentleman like myself, to see that viewer as a leader. as a common denominator to keep us to transform this country. Support just we are. After that, we have 12 years, so the market, economy. The other then, Georgia is the only captain in the sport of the set. And so, the only blessing now power is the we are. It will count for 3 years and 3 years, then we'll talk about more money.
Do you have a political ambitions come 2023, sir? Are you planning on contesting anywhere? I want to know anything in the secret pipeline that we should expect.
I am working on one of the pleasure of the president.
Okay.
To work in my country. I have a job to do in 50 years time to deliver. I'm doing my job out here to favor, to bring steps to this government, my people, and my country. That's what I'm doing. What I pledge my life to the people and my country. Also,
Okay.
it's not me. It's not putting up on people I'm serving. I'm all served and served with very much.
We will need you to make some recommendations to the president of the University of Liberia and then your parting comment.
What I can say to my good people, uncle and Valley, is that the vision is good, it's welcoming, but I think they need to rethink. They need to rethink. Okay? What is that thing require a lot of funding? Public government, it require a lot of money. We not waste the money, we not create leakages. That's what a free kind of money. You can redesign again. That's a small. You can let that and then come back to let's follow our instructors. Let's call them for the first time in the first 3 months, 4 months, 3. And then we can start the other the law school. Because in the law school there are guys that are working, they have money, they have other full-time internal working. You can be at home, offices, and then go from there, and then and bring in three professional IT guys. I was gonna better food. I was there recently. I'm just trying to go a little walk in to see the kind of the doctor there. Not seeing about the more than that. So, Mr. President, I want to appeal to you. We love you. We know you have all the vision to transform our own new school that was depend on. School that the president, minister, doctors, and all of you. We're going to look at it, read, design that, and let's set it up in big and issues. The Macupan nation, let's power it to try and see a outcome.
Okay, I need your parting comments on all the
Yeah,
happenings within our country.
thank you. I know that. I know. These are things that normally happen. Every person will have issues that we very express at times. We are grateful that we have peace. We are grateful that there's no war. We are grateful that the president is doing well around the school, ministers and directors. But above all, let's see Liberia as our only country we cannot be sent away from. Whether it was the China, America, we really come from Liberia. This is your home. Support the president, support his dreams. That's what we are for the South. But I know that is one that I'm leading us down. If we start to break him down, Labro will be down. So we can always say, I love all Liberians or Philippines, but let's see our country. If we don't fix it, no one will for us. It's not for a different planet or different land. If we that live here, that gone to school, that raise money, that can put the all together and unite Liberia to come out. So what's going to be our loyalty to? Again, I want to thank you. God bless you and save this nation to set the president.
Have a nice day, sir. God bless you too. Thank you.
You're welcome, please.
All right. That was Mr. Willis from Brembassa. He's the assistant superintendent for fiscal affairs there. So this is the expert opinion. I don't know how we got this far, but we are getting there. And like I can always tell you, together we can win. This is a program that take experts. I don't know if you would like to call in to say anything, but normally we only deal with experts on this program. We get their view and their recommendations to institutions that need help and growing along the way. Like we said this morning, we are looking at the University of Liberia. There are many challenges the university is faced with. One of them recently is the e-learning program that we have there. Students were having difficult time logging into their pages getting access to classroom and downloading assignment and even taking their test and their midterm. But hopefully from the protest from SOUP, the university called for close down till time indefinite. They are working on things and we hope the university will open anytime soon. But that's not the only place we have problem when it comes to education. We have a high school student that will be telling us a little about the challenges she's faced with from her own little school. So, how are you?
I'm finding you.
We are all doing fine. Even your listeners, everybody are doing fine. So, can you tell us some of the difficulties you have on campus and that of the positive part of it?
Yeah, before that, Jocelyn Small. Some of the difficulties on campus include, where we have no safe drinking water. For now, we don't have what we call a reservoir, where students will take in water, that will be helpful to their system. And then the school year, we don't really have good janitors. Sometimes some people move from the, Ministry of Education and then visit on campus. All they care about is, you must know this, you must know that. But they are not really making impact on us. Like for the COVID-19, they only say we should completely wear the mask. But they don't really know how we are feeling. Some of the students, they have difficulties in breathing when they wear the mask.
Okay, thank you very much. You didn't call your name, oh. How you want the people to know you and which school you from?
I am Jocelyn Small and I'm from the Pressure Sport Foundation.
Okay, so what are some of the good things that happening on your campus? Despite the bad ones, the COVID-19, no safe drinking water. What are the positive things on your campus that you want to talk about today?
You know, one of the things that bring positive change in our campus is the teachers. They put in time, do more research, and then even if everything students say in class, they take it into consideration.
Okay, thank you very much. Jocelyn Smoke, identifying her own problem from the school there. I don't know how you feel about it, but there are a lot of things that we are faced with that only ourselves can help ourselves. You may not be your expert out there, but you yourself can help your communities. Like Mr. Willie said, protest is not always the positive way forward. There are a lot of situations that you find yourself in that only you can help yourself. Dialogue is one of the things that bring peace and understanding. You hear the saying, divided we will fall, but together united we stand. If you join him with the government in making this country a better place, you can change lives. This program is called Expert Opinion because one way or the other, each of you out there is an expert in your own field of study. Okay? Whether you may even be a driver, you are an expert. Once you have experience and you've been there for long, finding your delivery and being successful, you are an expert. Whatever you do it to your best because tomorrow you'll be given the opportunity to prove yourself. Life is not all about only today, what you get. It's about the impact, the change you made on society. Living a healthy life is not all to if you are rich, it's not about the physical cash, like I always said. How many lives did you impact? Like my boss me, Mr. Osi can say, carry everyone alone. Don't leave anybody behind. You have to learn to believe in people, trust, and give people the key mark to prove themselves to you. Make sure that whatever life you live, there will be a tomorrow and there will be someone to point out your achievements and those things that you have done to change their life. Okay? So my name is Grace Williams Joshua. I've been here today with the program, The Expert Opinion. Do join us next week, Thursday, for another edition of this program. If you are thinking about where to go, who to solve your problem, just dial our number. We have experts from every field of studies that will give you recommendations and will help you out. They are willing to talk to you, they are willing to guide you, they are willing to set your life on track. They are librarians that have made positive impact in a lot of positive way, but they don't know the work for people to help. All you need to do is come out and tell us the difficulties you are going through. The solution will be at your door. Thanks for listening. Do join us next week Thursday for another edition of the program, The Aspect Opinion. I'm Grace Williams Joshua. This is Brush FM. Thanks for listening.